When I first started exploring Europe, I was surprised by how many countries actually offer ways for people, including Black travelers and expats like me, to live almost completely for free. From housing initiatives in small towns to relocation grants to entire villages giving away homes just to attract new residents, Europe is full of opportunities that most people have never even heard about. In this video, I'll walk you through 10 European countries where you can live without worrying about rent or huge expenses. And I'll share it through my own eyes, what it felt like stepping into these places, and why they're not just beautiful, but also welcoming. Trust me, number 3 completely shocked me when I discovered it. Number 1, Italy. Italy was where I first truly felt the magic of Europe's live for free opportunities. Small towns across the country, especially in regions like Sicily and Sardinia, are literally giving away houses for just €1. At first, I thought it was a scam until I walked through these quiet cobblestone streets and saw the "for €1" signs myself. Here's the catch. Most of these houses are old and need renovation, but the towns often step in with grants or support, making it possible to settle down with very little money. As a Black traveler, I was curious about how welcoming these communities would be. To my surprise, many locals were simply happy to see new life in their fading villages. Standing on a balcony of one of those €1 houses, looking out at rolling vineyards and pastel rooftops, I realized something. This wasn't just about saving money. It was about being part of a story, bringing life back to a place that refuses to die. Italy, with its mix of history and hospitality, might just be the most romantic way to live for almost free.
Number 2, Spain. Spain is another gem for living almost free, especially in rural areas. I remember arriving in Galicia and hearing whispers about entire villages where homes could be claimed for next to nothing. Some local governments even pay people to move in because their younger generation has moved away to cities. For me, the highlight was Andalusia, where sunlight warms the whitewashed houses and life feels slow and sweet. In certain towns, new residents can apply for nearly free housing and small monthly allowances. I spoke to a local who laughed and said, "We don't need empty houses, we need neighbors." That stuck with me. As a Black traveler, Spain's big cities can feel busy and sometimes overwhelming, but in these small villages, life slows down. People greet you by name, bakeries give you extra bread when they notice you're new, and neighbors stop to ask about your story. Imagine living where expenses are almost zero and the only cost is joining in the rhythm of daily life. Spain doesn't just offer free living, it offers a chance to belong. Number 3, Portugal. Portugal, with its golden beaches and warm culture, surprised me with how generous it can be. In some rural regions, especially inland, towns actually invite people to move there for free housing. I walked through Alentejo one evening, the sun melting into the horizon, and thought, how is this not on everyone's radar? Some communities in Portugal even provide farmland plots for those willing to settle. It's their way of keeping villages alive and tradition strong. For someone like me, who loves both the ocean breeze in Lisbon and the quiet hills of the countryside, Portugal felt like the perfect mix of opportunity and beauty. The best part? Portugal's reputation for openness and friendliness. As a Black expat, I never once felt like I was out of place here. In fact, I felt celebrated for bringing diversity into places that need it. Living nearly free in Portugal isn't just about cost, it's about quality of life. Number 4, Greece. Greece is one of those countries that seems straight out of a postcard. Whitewashed houses, blue seas, and the sound of church bells echoing across the islands. But what many people don't know is that some Greek islands are practically paying people to move in. I still remember stepping onto Antikythera, a tiny island between Crete and the Peloponnese. Fewer than 50 people live there, and the local government has been offering free housing, land, and even a small monthly stipend for families willing to relocate. Standing by the turquoise waters, I realized this wasn't just about free living, it was about reviving a community. As a Black traveler, I was curious if I'd feel like an outsider in such a small place. But the locals greeted me with warmth, offering fresh bread, olives, and stories of their families. Life here is slow, but it's real. And imagine waking up to the Aegean sunrise every morning without paying a cent in rent. Greece offers not just a home, but a sense of being part of something ancient and enduring. Number 5. Ireland. When I arrived in rural Ireland, I expected rain, green hills, and folklore, and I got all that, plus something even more surprising. Some Irish towns actually provide grants and free housing schemes for newcomers.
Why?
Because many of their young people leave for cities or abroad, leaving villages quiet and aging. One evening, I walked through a small Irish town, mist rolling over the fields. A pub owner told me, "We just want new faces, new families. What's the use of empty homes?" It hit me that these places don't just want residents. They want life back in their streets. Ireland also stands out for its friendliness. As a Black traveler, I was welcomed with open arms, people eager to hear my story and share theirs. Imagine being part of a community where your rent is zero, but your value as a neighbor is everything. Ireland might just be one of Europe's best-kept secrets for living almost free. Number 6. Germany. Germany might not be the first place you'd think of for free living, but in certain rural regions, it's a reality. Towns in the east, especially places that lost population after reunification, actually offer free housing or land incentives to attract people back. I remember visiting a quiet village in Saxony. Half the houses stood empty, their windows like eyes waiting for someone to return. The mayor explained that they would rather offer homes for free, or nearly free, than watch the place vanish. Walking through those empty streets, I realized I was standing in a community that desperately wanted to breathe again. As a Black traveler, Germany can feel formal in the cities, but in these small towns, the curiosity turned into kindness. Neighbors offered me homemade bread and even invited me to sit for dinner. Germany's free living opportunities aren't just about housing, they're about joining places where your presence makes a difference. Number 7. France. France is famous for Paris, croissants, and romance. But here's something most people don't know. In rural areas, towns sometimes give away land or housing for free to attract families. I found this especially in central France, where rolling hills and stone cottages paint a storybook scene. In one village, I was shown a centuries-old house offered for just a symbolic price, with grants to help fix it. I stood in that empty living room, sunlight streaming through cracked shutters, and I imagined what it could become, a home filled with laughter, food, and new beginnings. What struck me most was how eager locals were for change. "We don't care where you're from," one shopkeeper told me. "We just want life here again." For me, as a Black traveler, that openness was everything. France offers more than free living. It offers the chance to become part of a landscape where history is etched into every stone wall, but the future depends on new people writing their own chapters. Number 8. Croatia. Croatia has some of the most breathtaking coastlines in Europe, but beyond the beaches, rural villages face decline. To fight this, some towns provide free land and incentives for newcomers. I traveled inland to a small town surrounded by forests. There, I learned that families willing to settle were offered plots of land and housing help almost completely free. One evening, as I watched the sunset over the hills, I realized this wasn't just about affordability. It was about being part of a hidden paradise. Croatia's younger generation often leaves for bigger cities or abroad, so these communities are eager for fresh faces. As a Black traveler, I found the curiosity of locals quickly turned into genuine hospitality. Free living here isn't just about money. It's about finding a slower pace of life in one of Europe's most underrated gems. Number 9. Scotland. Scotland stole my heart with its rugged landscapes and endless skies. But what amazed me even more was discovering towns offering free housing or land incentives to attract residents. Especially in the Highlands and Islands, population decline has led communities to open their doors wide. I remember visiting the Isle of Rum, where the local council has literally advertised free homes for people willing to move there. The idea of waking up to misty mountains, wild deer, and ancient castles, all while paying nothing for housing, felt surreal. Of course, living here isn't for everyone. Winters are cold, communities are tiny, and life is remote. But standing by a lock with the wind in my face, I thought, this is freedom in its rawest form. As a Black traveler, the warmth of the people stood out most. In places where neighbors are more like extended family, you're valued for your presence, not your appearance. Scotland proves that living for free can also mean living fully. Number 10. Estonia. Estonia, a small but forward-thinking country in Northern Europe, also has unique free living opportunities. Some rural towns offer free housing and land grants, hoping to attract young people and families. When I visited Estonia, I was struck by the mix of medieval streets in Tallinn and wide-open countryside just beyond. In smaller villages, empty houses stand waiting for new life. The government supports initiatives where moving there can mean almost zero housing costs. What I loved most was Estonia's balance of old and new. On one hand, you have centuries-old castles. On the other, a digital society where almost everything is online. For Black expats, the openness of younger Estonians makes settling in easier than you might expect. Living for free in Estonia isn't just practical, it's stepping into a place where tradition and innovation live side by side. And that's it, 10 European countries where Black people can live almost for free. From the golden sunsets of Portugal to the rugged mountains of Scotland, each one offers more than just cheap living. They offer community, belonging, and a chance to write a new story. Exploring these places reminded me that free doesn't just mean money. Sometimes it means freedom from stress, freedom to live slowly, or freedom to start over. So, tell me, which of these countries would you pack your bags for first? Drop your answer in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me on Movik's Tales for more hidden opportunities and adventures around the world. Until next time, keep exploring,